Question 2. Sketch the graph of y given that all roots are positive. Okay, so we got one factor here. I've got three factors locked in here because this is x to the power 3. So we need to find the other three factors here. First of all, I need to check if x equals to 1 is a root. Because if I put 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, and if all add up to 0, that meant x equals to 1 is a root. Or if I add all the coefficients, which indeed turn out to be 0 when I put x equals to 1 here. Therefore, x equals to 1 is a root. So x equals to 1 is a root. And if I take away 1 from both sides, I get x minus 1 equal to 0. So that's a root, and that's a factor. Now, I've got two factors for this. So I've got, for the function of x, I've got the two factors, x minus 3, and I've got the other factor, which is x minus 1. And then what's left is g of x. So I need to find the g of x to find the two factors locked in here. That would be quadratic. To do that, I need to divide this function here by x minus 1, or by that, either one. So I've got my division to do here, and that's x minus 1, x cubed minus 7x squared plus 14x minus 8. What can I multiply with x cubed? With x to get x cubed, that would be x squared. So if I write x squared here, x squared times x would be x cubed. So I'll write x cubed. X squared times minus 1 will be minus x squared. So I'll write minus x squared. Draw a line. Now I need to take away. So I get x cubed minus s cubed, that will be 0. So I need to get rid of that. Now I need to do minus 7x squared. Minus minus is plus x squared. That will be minus 6x squared. So that will be minus 6x squared. I need to bring plus 14x down. Now, what can I multiply with x to get minus 6x squared? So that would be minus 6x. Minus 6x times x. Minus 6x times x would be minus 6x squared. Minus 6x times minus 1 will be plus 6x. Draw a line. And I need to take away this time again. Minus 6x minus minus is plus 6x squared. Minus 6x squared minus minus 6x squared will be plus 6x squared. That will become 0. 14x minus 6x will be minus plus 8x. So that will be 8x. I need to bring down minus 8 down. What can I multiply with x to get 8x? I'm thinking plus 8. So I'll put here plus 8. 8 times x is 8x. And 8 times minus 1 is minus 8. And that becomes 0 when I take away. So now I've got my f of x equals x minus 3, the first factor, and the second factor, x minus 1. And I've got my quadratic that was left, x squared minus 6x plus 8. Now what I need to do now is to factorize the quadratic here. I need to factorize that where a equals 1, b equals minus 6, c equals 8. using AC. AC is 1 times 8. 1 times 8 is 8. What two numbers can I multiply to get? When I multiply them, I get 8. When I add them up, I get minus 6. I get a B, minus 6. Minus 4 and minus 2. So if I have minus 4 here and minus 2, I could then add x at the end here, and that will make it minus 4x minus 2x will give me minus 6x. So I can replace that with these two numbers, and then I'll get x squared minus 2x minus 4x plus 8. Obviously that equal to 0 because everything equals to 0. And in this case, I have a 2 common factor here, and I'm going to put another common factor here. So if I take those factor out, so it will be, the first factor is x, so x, and then you get x minus 2. So that's the first factor. The second factor is minus 4. So that will be x minus 2 as well, equal to 0. You can see if we multiply them out, we get that. If I multiply that out, I get that as well. So they're correct. There's another common factor here. So that's what I get. X minus 4, which is left, and I've got x minus 2 as a factor. And that equal to 0. So I found all my factors now. So for the quadratic, which we've just solved, and the function of f of x, so that we can sketch it, we can plot it, we get x minus 3, that's one factor, x minus 1, that's another factor, x minus 4, and x minus 2. So we can set the factor to 0, set that to 0, set that to 0, set that to 0, set that to 0. So x becomes 3 for that one, x becomes 1, x becomes minus 4, x becomes 4, and x becomes 2. Because x minus 2 equal to 0, therefore add 2 to both sides, x equals 2. X minus 4 equal to 0, add 4 to both sides, x becomes 4. That's how we get the roots. So now these are the 4 roots we need to sketch the curve. It's got an intercept. The intercept will be minus 3 times minus 8, which will be plus 24. So it'll be crossing at 24. The intercept will be minus 3 times minus 8. It's going to be 24, and that equals E, and E is the intercept on the y-axis. So now we know the roots now. X equals 1, x equals 2, x equals 3, x equals 4. These are the roots. So to sketch the root, x equals 1, we put 1 there. X equals 2 goes there. X equals 3, x equals 4. Those are the 4 roots. And it's crossing at 24, so that's 24 there. So that's how the curve is crossing. And to now sketch the curve, so that's the curve, and that's how you sketch the curve.